Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Unboxing Design Systems here from your friends at Figma Portugal. Um, I'm glad that we're starting to see that there's people from a little bit across the globe here, or at least Europe, because apparently we have Porto, Lisbon, and Germany in the comments. My name is Bruno. I'm one of the Friends of Figma Portugal advocates, but today I'm going to be mostly the MC, just dealing with the system. The real stars are here, Raquel and Rita. I'll let you guys introduce yourself. So go ahead.
Hi, so I'm Raquel. I've been working on UX design for the past 4 or 5 years, I think. When you start to count, makes you sad when you're getting older. I've been doing mostly in the past years more focusing on design ops. And so, as naturally, design system is a big topic for me. Yeah, and I'm working on the Volkswagen Digital Solutions, more specific to MIN. Yeah, you can
Nice.
know.
Okay, so yeah, hi everyone. I'm Rita. Maybe some of you already met me in also the previous event we had in person in Porto. I'm a design systems and operations designer. I have been in the field for almost 4 years now. I was working purely at the beginning with design systems. Nowadays I work as a design ops specialist at Aviv Group, and previously I was working at HelloFresh for 3.5 years. Nice to be here today.
Awesome. So today, what we're going to be talking is about the Atlassian design system. So, if anyone here has seen or was with us for the first episode, we actually deep dived a little bit into Uber's design system base. Today, we're going to be looking at Atlassian's design. But as always, we always start on the place where all of these design systems are served, which is the designsystems.com. So here we go. What you guys have to say about this amazing resource that Figma for everyone?
Don't know if you want to go first, Raquel, or do I go?
Yeah, no problem. So basically, this, at least for me, this site really helps me to keep with the most trendy topics. For instance, this one is very trendy, as you can imagine, the automation of design system, very interesting to read. And so I just advise you to take a look at the articles that eventually Figma does here at the website. It's the Figma website for those who don't know, by the way. And yeah, we basically from our sessions, this one and the futures ones, we go to the repo and then we choose design system. We also um, receive your suggestions. So in case you have any suggestions for the next one, just go ahead and send us out so we can talk about it. And yeah, today the chosen one was Atlassian, which is very cool because they updated their files on the community side. So they have like 15 days. So it was very interesting for us because we were now going to review the most updated features. However, I think they maintained the previous one, so you can take a look on the previous one and the most recent one. But today we will search and eventually dig into the most recent ones. I
Yeah,
think you were there. Yeah.
Yeah, you were there already. Yeah,
I know. I'm
this
just.
it's
I was just gonna
You're
show
just
everyone.
sharing. Okay, yeah.
Literally, like, if everyone wants to find this design systems repo, it literally just you go to designsystems.com. You either scroll to the bottom of the page where you start getting the first few design systems here available. But if you want
Yeah.
to find them faster, just go to the menu, design system repo, and here you can see all the available design systems that you have to go to the community, duplicate, test them, play around with them, figure out how these amazing companies have built their design system. And yeah, our goal is to keep digging at these and looking at each one. But that's it.
yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I spent a lot of time visiting this website without knowing that it was from Figma. Then I learned
Yeah,
recently that
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
from
Well,
Figma.
I can
And I was
say
like,
that because I remember when it was launched. I kind of was like aware of it since the beginning, so I can't really say that. But yeah, like it's super interesting to see like a resource like this that people don't understand that is available for a long time too. So
Yeah.
And it's not just because the repos are here, it's because some of the articles and the things that you have here are super, super interesting. I remember there was a full article on a guide on iconography. This is
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah.
By Bonnie Kate Wolf. Like for me, I'm an icon nerd, so I just devoured this article.
Oh, responsive icons, such a
Yeah.
topic.
Okay, and do we want to just jump a little bit to where this takes us? So if you come here and you click on the Atlassian ADS Foundations, it's gonna open the Figma community file. From that point, you can basically just duplicate it and start using your copy of the file in your version of Figma. We already have that, so that's actually something that we have ready. Actually, I'm now very curious.
Yeah, that's the previous one, Bruno. If you go to that Atlassian account, you have more. Yeah.
Let me click on the Atlassian here.
Yeah. Because
now I was actually
big update.
Yeah. Now I was actually very interested about one thing. They changed the name of the button to open in Figma. Also really interesting.
It used to be duplicated, right? Or just
Duplicate,
like make a copy.
Yeah.
I don't know what's coming on there, but I like it. So yeah, you can already see all the elements that they have. Also, their widget for Jira that works in both Figma and FigJam, which is a really cool tool to use if you want to keep your tickets side by side with your designs. It's awesome to help you better do your job and not having to jump around between tools so many times. But since we actually already prepared some things, we duplicated these documents, right? So
just to give the heads up that the new files are more design token friendly, so that's the big huge difference. The other ones are a little bit more old school, let's say, that they have the foundations and the components as a libraries, and this one is more connected to the design token plugin. Unfortunately, they are down, but eventually when they back up, I would advise you totally to experience their plugin. Yeah.
So you come here, you click on a file, you click on open in Figma, and before we leave, I just need to double check one. I think this is really fun. What does this mean? This is created as a Figma partner. Nice. I hadn't seen this.
Okay, I didn't know about that. Okay.
So Figma now also has blue check marks. Blue check marks for everyone. There you go. Yeah, but this is really cool. Okay, let's jump into Figma. And here I'm also on the Figma community, but we actually already have all the files duplicated. So where do you guys want to start? Foundations, components?
Maybe we go first to foundations, no?
Yeah,
sure.
So who wants to lead? I'm just going to follow you while you show.
Yeah.
Maybe it helps when we start on the website itself, perhaps, so we
can go on the website.
Okay, so let's go back to the browser and let's go to the Atlassian.
Cool.
Great. We can maybe navigate a bit through the foundations and then we compare it a bit of what we have in Figma and what we have explained here.
Yeah.
Let me also open it for me.
Already a big thumbs up that accessibility is the first topic.
Exactly, that's what I was about to say.
Although it's on alphabetical order, so I don't know.
Oh, you think?
I was happy though. Okay.
I thought it was on purpose, like accessibility friendly. Yeah, but probably is. But let's say that it could be. Let's say.
Yeah. No, but it's cool. Like I think, when it comes to foundations, it's clear, it's simple, it comes with specific topics. I also love that the fact that they have 2 sections for color because they are working something out in beta, so they create a section to the side so that people
you can actually will see a lot of that in all of the design system page, which I think is very cool because they show you that it's work in progress, but however they show you. So I think you have to be very confident about what you're doing and exposing to the world. Yeah, and for me, I visit a lot this design system, so sometimes I know already how I find stuff. But especially on foundations, I really use the accessibility to start with the topic regarding the documentation, and it was very useful, at least for me. And also for iconography, as we talk a little bit, it's a big topic. And yeah, and also the colors. I just remembered what they talk on Schema when they were introducing design tokens. So I really like their palettes because they have a rainbow of colors, but you can definitely associate it with Atlassian. Like, oh, this is a gyro, a color. Even though it's a rainbow, you can associate it somehow with their products.
Actually,
so I think it's cool. Yeah,
that's actually a super interesting conversation. Like ownership of colors when it comes to products, very hard. And something that comes up in a lot of these conversations. Like, they might just need to work. We don't really need to go down to the point where, oh yeah, it's just the blues, just the reds. They work if they are like 50 different colors. Maybe don't worry about it. It works.
Yeah. And I think they really embrace this rainbow vibe. If you visit the homepage, and actually on each section, every section has a color associated, which I found it funny. So the brand is the blue as a classic of Atlassian, but then the other ones has colors, and I find it funny.
Yeah, but it's nice that they don't make it overwhelming, right? So I think they are part of the extended palette, if I'm not mistaken. And it's nice that even in the product, you know that these colors are there, but it's not overwhelming. I mean, it's more likely used on small details like the issue, icons, and things like that. Which is nice.
To highlight. I think they use very well the colors. So normally when people have a lot of rainbows, you can imagine like, oh, that will be chaotic. But no,
it's really hard. They have
very consistent use of colors, which I think is interesting.
No, it's super. And also,
I wonder. Sorry.
I was just gonna say one really quick thing, which is. We started on the foundations, but they actually do have a get start.
We are Portuguese. We never read get started.
Guys.
We just go and do it.
I'd say we are designers, not we are Portuguese.
Maybe, probably. I was associating
a little bit of both.
We never read anything.
Oh, for sure.
What do they say there, though?
So they have it divided in content design, design and development, which is really cool because content design is first, meaning that they are focused on people actually learning about the voice and tone and content standards before they start actually building things, which many times is something that it's lost in the process. It feels less a product way of looking at things, a branded way of looking at things. Usually brand-centric products do more of this content design first, but it's more and more common to see product teams embracing this.
And I think it's good to avoid that you look at the product and see like, oh, people A designed this, and instead they might want to do like, regardless of the designer, this is an Atlassian product. So I think it's a very challenging thing because you sometimes can see, oh, I know the person that designed this, because you can see the patterns of spacing or the way of they write stuff. And a big thumbs up that they can actually already have so maturity level of defining content design guidelines. And I also like the content. We can see it a little bit after, but they have just a section only for content, which for me is really cool as an inspiration regarding UX writing and so on. It's really complete. Like if you visit the content, I think we can swipe a little bit to the right after components on the menu.
Here we go. Sorry, I was looking for
it's insane. They teach you when to use a period, for instance, when to use an active verb. It's insane, but for me it's awesome. You can visit that one. And you can see a lot of things like when to use capitalization, when to use bold. So this for me is for you to have, comfort to define those things as the guidelines. It's a huge step for me because UX writing, I think it's a pain point, at least for most companies at the moment, I think.
Documentation wise, I feel like some of these details, but this is my like brand guidelines brain working. Like the
Yeah,
yes and no's should have a little bit more clarity. Because if someone is lazy and just like reading it really fast, you can't really see the difference.
But they do have it in another part, right? In some other parts, they actually use that. Yeah.
I think here, since it's so much focus on content, is a little bit simplified. But in any case, it's really good to have such an extended type of system and structure to talk about content, which it's normal in bigger companies. I think it's something that I've seen happening at OutSystems where I work. I've seen happening and some stuff that Figma also does. Like content design has become more and more prevalent, and it's one of those new roles that before wasn't as present, but nowadays you can easily see how it's something that just became part of the regular process for.
And how important it is, and I think it's still in progress in most of the companies. So they have so many things. Big kudos to that.
Yep.
And I think this is content friendly for UX writers, right? So they don't need visuals; they just need text.
Exactly.
To read it.
No. We can also give them visuals. They also need those.
By the way, some pages are more or for employees. So this gives me a feeling that although this is a public design system, their focus is for the employees. So they kind of like, okay, for things that we don't need to expose, we'll just put it to the employees, and you do a login with Atlassian, with your Atlassian account, and I find it cool. Like, okay, you can learn with us, but our focus is the employees. Yeah.
Yeah. So I that's also something that it's interesting. There's a lot of emphasis. I'm going through that process right. Like I'm building an internal brand website just to help the employees have content that allows them to. And at a certain point, you have to ask, like, is this just for internal, or should we also share it with the world and like be more open with the content?
Yeah. That dilemma.
The implementation of that, it's a product on its own, which.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's really important, especially when you start scaling in your company, which is like when it's getting bigger and bigger, that you find ways to nicely make it visual to the employees, how they can actually find information and make it easier, because a lot of times it's really hard. And these kind of companies are already in a level where they can actually make it public. And then, of course, they need to find ways to have parts just for the employees. But it's really nice that they give us at least this overview. Of course, we know we don't have access to everything, and we are not expecting that, but at least to some of the parts, and having the better part, it's really nice. And I was wondering if this beta thing on the colors, it's actually what it translates in Figma, or if what we see in Figma, it's actually the main colors they have there, the section.
So
because they keep updating it.
When we look at 1 and 2 right now, I think the fact that the other one is in beta is the fact that a new color system is coming soon, so they are waiting for the design tokens to be updated. It says the design tokens are in beta, so I think everything here that says beta is because the design tokens tool that they have is in beta. They have to take it down, and they should have it back up soon. And that it should also affect the way that you're doing.
I think what they do, Rita, for what I suspect, is that they use the plugin in the future when it's online, and then they give you your update through the plugin, and then you can use the most updated design token through the plugin. That's the feeling that I have. So which
that's
is
nice.
Great, right?
Exactly,
because you don't have to update anything.
Exactly,
you
don't
need
to
about,
keep copying the file like we need to do now. So you just need to actually update in that file with the plugin everything. Either that, I wonder how does that work, especially with new components, because probably you cannot like push them through the plugin, which might be quite hard sometimes. So they maybe keep publishing some new components, but I don't know how they are planning to deal with that.
For employees, they will most likely have internal libraries, but the curiosity is for the public ones.
Exactly, how they make us being aware of it, because so far as I know right now with a plugin, you cannot push new components. You might change the ones that you already have, but not the new ones. So,
I think for us it's just a playground, let's say.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I was gonna say one thing though for the audience. If you guys have any questions, if you want to participate, use the chat here on YouTube. We're looking at it. We're ready to answer your questions live. So if you have something that you find interesting, or if you want us to look at something that you know from this design system that we don't know, let us know. We want to be interacting with you the whole time. This is not just our stream; it's your stream too. So bring those questions in. We really want to know what you guys are looking.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
for
curious
sure.
around the tokens though, because
Yeah,
if
I was
they
going to
have the
talk
tokens
about that
inside
one.
the sections, what do they place in the tokens? I'm wondering.
Yeah,
It's
I think
like
it's just to educate people like what it is, because at least we are now, at least most of the companies are now educating what design
Yeah.
token is, and I think they do a lot of work being, a big use case in the market. They also talk in Schema, for instance, about this
Yeah.
transition, and I found it very human and realistic, because they were, sharing the big concerns and some mistakes that they did, and usually companies don't do that. So I found it very cool that they share the process. Like, it could be painful, the transition and so on, and they explain the whole logic behind. And for me, it's amazing. Yeah, for design
That's
tokens. If you can see the whole list of design tokens, which is weird because it's not on this list. This
okay.
tokens pages are only to explain. If you can go, yeah, exactly. You have to go to components and then design tokens.
tokens.
And here you
But yeah,
have the
but if,
holy
by the
grail.
way, but you
Yeah.
can actually jump there. It's on the left. It says all design tokens.
Okay, that link
Okay.
is
Then
new.
you can
Yeah, that
see
link is new.
the list.
That's
Yeah.
that's what I call fixing your product while you're building it.
Yeah. Or at least I
Okay.
haven't found it yet. So good. That's a
Yeah.
shortcut. Yeah.
No,
And I
that's
found it
really cool.
interesting that it's like a library inside of components, which is cool, because the
And it
concept
has all
itself.
of them here.
Yeah, it's really good to brainstorm here when you're on the face of naming design tokens, and that's a very cool process in case you're in there.
Yeah.
In case you don't have it on a company, just propose and you will have fun.
Yeah. So
Because it's
they
very
have
cool.
text. So we have color tokens that are applied to text, links, icons, borders, backgrounds, blanket.
Yeah,
Is a
yeah.
blanket.
A blanket, that probably is like that model, I think.
Yeah, I think it's the overlay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's the overlay that you put behind the
Yeah.
components. Yeah.
Yeah.
I find it weird that they have a lot of internal terminologies, at least is what it looks like. So they don't actually follow, I mean, the mass of what other design systems are talking or using.
Yeah.
They do have different names for the things that we normally have a common name in design systems, like the overlay, and then they come and call it blanket. And then sometimes you might need to learn a bit.
Yeah, I think that's super interesting. It's part of that conversation, like internal culture versus clarity, right? Like, is this clear, or does these lead to a longer ramp up for new designers, right? Like, we want young designers or new designers to join the team, like, not be overwhelmed by all the information. So when you're starting to develop something like this, it's really interesting to try and understand how much cognitive weight are you putting into people learning new things, right?
Yeah.
One thing that I know is, like, entering into the corporate world, you already have stuff like, I don't know, acronyms, like a lot of acronyms, and then you're also introduced to new design languages. It's like 50-50 on if it's a good thing or not. But in any case, it's not like bad. It's cool. It shows that there's some level of culture where some of these things maybe have a different type of meaning. But it's also fun to see how other teams do it. Another cool thing is, like, I know that Louis Uriash from Figma does this a lot. He's like, even understanding how people call any of these, because a lot of people simply just call them different things that they assume that's what they are by default.
Yeah, and I mean, there are like these really big brands that in the past were responsible for actually creating names for things inside design systems. So I think these are the kind of brands that can actually do this, right? When you have a
Yeah,
small
yeah,
brand,
yeah.
you might need to follow, especially if you
Yeah.
want to share with other people. But these
Yeah.
are the kind of brands that they can actually name it differently, and who knows, they actually one day it comes the name for overlaid blanket because in
Yeah,
Atlassian
yeah, yeah,
is the name.
because they
They
propose
do
it.
have
Yeah.
this power, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
That's it.
especially it's because they adjust to their company reality, which I think it's a very key point when you're doing a design system, right? Because we have more and more templates and tutorials like, oh, you can create a design system right away, and then you can copy one or two templates and people think it's done. And for me, the big main difference of the UI kit and the design system, especially to do this adaptation with the company itself. So they are very like, this is ours. So if we think that we should have tokens for Jira or Confluence, then we will
Yeah.
do it because it's more easy. And they probably have big teams, imagine. Like maybe it's more easy for them to have tokens for Confluence stuff and for Jira stuff. And I think it's also interesting to learn from that, like because as you said, Rita, we usually do very universal solutions for us in the for our companies, and sometimes we may struggle with that. So
Yeah.
it is like, oh no, we don't care. We're just going to do for our needs, and it's fine. And I think that's really interesting that they do such a personal nomenclature regarding components and design tokens,
Yeah.
which I think it's
Yeah.
interesting.
I
Yeah.
was just gonna say you were talking about companies naming certain things. I think Elevation is a Google product, for example,
Yeah,
right?
for instance,
Like
Yeah.
elevation. For me, it's
Elevation
weird.
becomes
Yeah.
a lot from material because
Yeah.
material design
Yeah.
was using that like near real layering of things. They had the whole like paper models in the first version. I don't know if you've seen that, like in their original test where they like pointed lights, little blocks of cardboard, and placed them in physical spaces to design the shadows.
Ah, amazing. Yeah.
So that's
Amazing.
where I remember that elevation came a lot from the work that they did. It doesn't mean that
Yeah.
others didn't have it, but it feels like they were the definitive team to actually give the name elevation, give the
Yeah.
meaning to elevation. So that was really cool to
Yeah.
see when we were looking at this. There's a comment here
Yeah.
from Giovanni saying that their
Yeah.
typography scheme is insane. Fonts for each operative system. I wonder how they bring that
Okay.
in and that.
Let's see
So
that.
is that like here? Foundations typography. There you
Okay.
go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fonts.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do they use them? Ah, okay,
so
they have a brand one and that product one.
It's
so
the
I'm
Charlie
guessing brand.
stance.
Yeah, Charlie Sands is the brand typography. We actually had issues with it because it didn't really exist as a free font, so it was breaking our files. So we were
Yeah.
going to switch to something
Yeah.
completely different. So it's not going to look like that. And actually, the font that we found has nothing to do with this one. So apparently, there's two different fonts called Charlie, and the thing that we did broke their look, so it just looks weird. Sorry about that. And then we have iOS, Android, and Microsoft. I'm guessing, or iOS
Yeah.
slash
It
Mac
seems
OS,
like it.
Android, and Microsoft.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is
Seems like it.
it's not a bad practice if you think about it. Like a lot of people develop
Yeah.
products that
Because
are
you provide
more
a solution, right, for each
yeah.
environment.
I,
Yeah.
I, I
Yeah.
would say that like the difficulty with that might come on spacing and things like that. Like fonts react in different ways,
Yeah.
but most of these system fonts are not that different. They are
Yeah.
very class classic modern sans, let's put it like that, where they
Yeah.
use a very specific spacing. They are very much in line with the stuff that you've seen in Helveticas and stuff. Charlie Sans free font family download. Yeah, we tried to do that.
We tried that.
And
Yeah,
we
yeah,
probably
yeah.
looked for Charlie instead of Charlie Sans because we were looking at the code before looking at this. Because again, I don't know, designers or I don't know if it was Portuguese people design. I know do each sempre fuse. But it's not something that I've not seen other people doing it, and also there's also the backwards thing. We're looking at an amazing design system. Big. They've been working on this for
Yeah.
years now.
Yeah.
But also smaller teams that are still building their first products. Usually they start using the native systems and then adjust a little bit to their language. So maybe
Yeah.
it's easier to develop like that because you don't really need to worry about going to have create like load fonts, create extra weight, and especially in tools like tools from Atlassian, which are day-to-day work tools, where the idea is
Yeah,
that they
for
work
sure.
fast, seamlessly, and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm saying fast, but I know how Jira like blows up some laptops, for example. But yeah, like reducing that little load of like loading of fonts that go on all pages and everything takes goes a long way. I know, especially in web-based products are very heavy.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I wonder because I mean I use Atlassian in my workplace, and then I always think that it's a very consistent product. Actually, sometimes in a bad way because I don't love the
Yeah.
interface, but I think they are pretty consistent. And then I see like they have different typographies, and I never noticed though. For me, they have the same font
Yeah,
everywhere.
because you get so familiar.
It's really
Yeah.
interesting to see how when you jump here, then you see like they use like 5 different ones.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
all
You
look
wouldn't
Well,
imagine.
Well,
Yeah.
they use more apparently because they also use
Yeah.
the monos, because we have the
Yeah.
monos for code. So here you already have like Sego UI consoles, Courier, SF Mono, SF
Yeah.
Menlo, Roboto Mono, Ubuntu Mono. So there's a lot of fonts being loaded here. Like same
Yeah.
thing here, like Oxygen. There's more than 5. Like this is really like a huge amount of but it's still interesting to see how they are like set up.
How open they are to have so many fonts.
Yeah, definitely.
But again, most of these system fonts have the same goal, but then they
Yeah.
feel more at home in the system that you're using. If you're using a Mac, you're not going to feel like something is off. If you're using a Windows laptop, a Linux laptop, you're not going to
Yeah.
that something is off. So it's cool to see embracing that part of like the technology, which is different environments, different tools. Get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
we're 30 minutes, like 35 minutes in.
Okay.
Let's start looking into the way that these migrates into Figma files.
Sure.
Let's
Yes, we
go
can
to the
do that.
playground.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Now it's the interesting part. Like, how does it actually look in
Yeah.
Figma, though?
So, Raquel, do you want to explain what you want to do with this? What is it?
Yeah, so I think at least most of us already work with Jira, and in case you work with Jira, you probably already saw a Kanban board. In case you don't, you should study a little bit of Agile. But this is a Kanban board, so it's basically a column with your tickets or user stories or your tasks, let's say, with to do, in progress, and done. And for those who use Jira, this is a daily basis screen, right? Of course, you can have more columns, okay, but this is the basis concept. And I thought maybe it could be fun to actually start to design Kanban board with Atlassian design system. So I thought it was funny to try to create a daily basis screen. You know, that was the idea of it. Yeah. So let's see
That's
if
a really
we can
nice
make
one.
it. Yeah.
So let's see
Should
how we
we
do.
check the components, or we go right away and just like try to
Maybe we
build
should
it?
read the tutorial, right? Because we have it.
So let's start with this. Like the ADS Foundation says it is a design token support file.
Yeah.
It has a change log, which right now it's like version 1.0, which is fine.
Yeah.
So for the Atlassians, I'm guessing that's employees, you have a starting point. Are you a marketplace partner looking for guidance? There's actually a second page. So
interesting. Yeah.
if you're
It's
building
good to
products
learn how
that
they
go into
manage
their
this
marketplace,
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey Figma, why don't you do this for plugins?
Smooth.
Because it's cool. Like you have the UI from Figma available in the community. I don't think they have a guide like this for plugins. Would be cool. And I know that some community members have done this too. So yeah, it's interesting. So they have this. Okay, this library contains Atlassian's typography, grid, and basic visual styles, which provide the foundation for our team component library, ADS components beta. You can enable this library by searching for it in the assets. Got it. Then for marketplace partners, this library contains provide the foundation for our themed components library, but it doesn't really explain. Okay.
But it's interesting, right, Rita? Rita, sorry, sometimes the English.
It's okay.
But as they say here, it's better, right? So it's interesting your dilemma previously regarding the
Yeah.
libraries and the update. They already assume that this is a beta library, so it's interesting.
Exactly. So that's
Yeah,
good because then it means they actually keep it update, and then you can also actually check the things they are putting in the product, which is something that a lot of times company failed of, right? Keeping the user,
yeah,
especially when they make it public. Like a lot of times they make it public once, and then you only see an update 6 months later or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
So it's nice, and these are the kind of things that they can solve with a plugin. So they can
yeah,
actually update these
yeah,
styles
for
by
sure.
just making us using the plugin. Mm.
And I found it cool to put it here a link to know about team libraries, which I think it's nice, like a tutorial of Figma. So it's cool,
Ah, okay,
I'm
nice.
gonna
especially
start.
when you
I'm
are
gonna start
swiping
with.
libraries. Yeah,
I'm gonna start with a comment. For me, it's how can I put this? It's not that it's negative, but at the same time, is a little bit, which is they created their scales for the way that things work. And the styles have names. So you have UI text, small code, point. Then you have a whole section for paragraph, which is also default, link hover, and block quote. Then you get into headings, and you get
yeah, and then it's
systematic
super
numbering.
robots. Yeah, yeah,
Just
it's
like
weird.
that's
Yeah.
weird. I don't
Yeah,
know what.
maybe it's because usually no, but people use it, right? Because it should be, it's an adding. So yeah, it's
But
a
at the
good
same
question.
time,
Why this?
but
Yeah,
at the same time, these headings, you get to the point where some things are called headings, but they are like 11 pixels, like the smallest size that they
yeah,
have.
yeah.
So it's
Probably has
interesting
a
to see.
different typography, perhaps, and they had the need to call it adding, even though it's not an actual adding, but has a different typography.
Mhm.
Just to
I don't know. Maybe sometimes, like there, I think there is this thing on design systems that a lot of times we have the idea that if we name some style in this way, we should always use the same scale to name the other ones.
Mhm.
And that's
yeah,
something that over the years has been like quite changing on the company's design systems. And I think it makes sense because not all the fonts are so scalable like others that you
yeah,
have. So you have fonts that you know that you will not scale that much, so you might use something that it's very specific to that type of font, and then to
yeah,
ones like heading that you might go more than 35 as a font size, then you can scale if you use numbers, for example. So that's something that it was considered like a wrong practice. I remember like like
mm,
2 years ago, like you should always use the same scale, and over the
yeah,
years I think that has been changing, and it's something that I personally like. I don't think we always need to use the same scale or the same
yeah,
token naming convention to all of the tokens we have, because the things we have inside of design system are different, and they also scale different inside the design system. In this case I think it's too much
yeah,
in some
yeah.
parts.
But I
Yeah.
think the scaling issue regarding typography, maybe it was more easier on the front end side to scale with the RAM, it's more easy to multiply.
Mhm.
Maybe that's the reason why, scaling with that proportion was such a big hit. But
Mhm.
with design tokens, if you already predefine it, you don't have that need of always multiplying with the RAM. So
Yeah,
yeah, you're not that forced
I don't
to
know.
Exactly.
respect the
I think
scale,
it's a
perhaps.
lot really based on what you think about the system that you're building in. For example, for me, you're gonna have core tokens. Use the scales because those tokens don't mean anything, and it's gonna save you a lot of time in the future. Okay,
Yeah,
it, you find that confusing. That's why aliases exist, right? Like that's level two. Like you need simpler names for application. You go to simple. Right now, for example, my design system is being built like this. I have a scale for everything. But for example, for the skill that I have is not assigned to text; is assigned to sizing. We have a sizing
Mhm.
scale. That sizing scale then is applied when needed to colors, to whatever, but then or to spaces, but not to fonts because the text and the typography should have more clear names like this. So we created type scales based on product or based on density of the elements that need to go on screen and themes because we don't work with just product. We actually work with like stuff like I don't know display ads and social stuff and video. So it's interesting to see how like different teams think different ways, but like all these
yeah,
things might get
yeah.
confusing if you start doing stuff like this. It's just making sure that you kind of like balance things out, I guess.
Yeah.
But then they have avatars as color styles, which is funny. But
Yeah,
also,
yeah, it's so funny.
also
Yeah, I
there's
haven't
this
seen
thing
that
that
for a
says
while.
internal parts, this little page here, and what we found the other day is like they have the avatars in like one
Yeah.
component at 0.01 pixels, so you can't really like see it or anything. And then you like if I put it like I don't know 100 pixels, it actually has it's a sticker sheet with all the images. Like it has all the photos that exist as styles. They are here. And it's basically just
It's so
documented all of it.
funny because they seem real people.
But at the same time, it's like, didn't you just have like a page with all of these photos? Like, why
Yeah.
is it set up like this? But okay, in any
They were
case,
not expecting you to check it though. Then you did
Yeah.
it. So then, yeah.
again, we jump steps. We look at things like
True.
our brain just looks for answers everywhere. That's how
Yeah.
designers work, right?
Yeah, sure.
By the way, we have a comment from Joanna
Okay.
Eichner, saying, "Can it be that they use the line heights to define the headings so that it takes into consideration different typographies for the different operative systems? It would avoid shiftings, for example." Might be.
That could be also an option. Yeah, how they. Interesting. They have it here. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a page with it. I'm guessing just like I don't think it's about the light heights. I think it's mostly about the styles. Like they have a very dense
Nomenclature, perhaps.
Yeah,
Also
and
that's
since they
bogus.
have such a dense product, since they have such like a difficult product with a bunch of different things going on, that might not be as easy to apply. So they call everything that goes above the UI elements a heading.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Like
Yeah.
it's still like it's a fairly small table of styles for such an intricate product.
Yeah, it's such a big product, right? They
For
actually
sure.
don't have a lot of tokens.
For sure that this will take
Yeah.
a lot of times and hours between designers to define this, because I can imagine how political that might be. Like for me, that's not a heading. Okay, for me it is, and so on.
Yeah.
And then the styles that I have here that are also available are the people. Then they have the nipples, which I'm guessing it's creature avatars type of thing. then
Yeah,
they
you can
have
use it on Gyro, for
project.
instance, when you, yeah, yeah, yeah. They live a lot. The avatar stuff. I didn't have that notion when after I saw this. I think, okay, yeah, maybe because they have a lot. They really every time that you're creating something with the US, if you don't have your photo, they will generate
an avatar. Yes.
Yeah.
And
So
then
it's
last but
interesting.
not least, the grid, which they just have very simple. What I find interesting is like since we don't have the plugin with the tokens, we don't really see the documentation outside of the website. Like they don't have any like text here explaining what it is. It's
Yeah.
just literally function.
Yeah.
It's function. It
Yeah.
just exists.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's fun to see anyways. Okay, so we've seen the foundations. Let's go into the components where like the actual things are, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's try and see if it loads. It loaded. Right.
Yay.
So now I'm gonna follow one of you. Like I'm doing a lot of going in there, and I don't know if I'm actually doing the right things, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's see if it loads that we are in the file so we can follow.
Yeah, mine
When the
is
files are
loading,
heavy.
so let's see. Yeah.
Okay. I'm the one with a terrible network, but mine loaded, so that's nice.
Yeah, I think I'm here. You can see me, right?
Yes, we can. I can see you already.
So
Not
the
Pereira yet.
issue is the guy that is trying to run the stream and the multiple windows and everything in one line.
True, Pereira though.
It's still working. I'm just gonna do a quick close off. Oh Jesus, really? The moment I click on
Okay,
reload,
done.
is it still working? Yeah. So who I'm gonna follow? Choose.
Okay. I don't know, Raquel, do you want to go and we talk?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
follow me and then we eventually go through with it. And in case you need me to go slower, just say it.
Sure.
So I found it interesting to say what's new. So because they assume that this is a public file, so I found it interesting to do like a recap or introduction, like what they do new. So I found it interesting. It's like a nicer changelog, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And they already have a dark theme. Remember when the dark theme was a hit? I think for
Yes.
them took a while to have it, but they finally have it.
Is this actually launched? Because the option never appeared to me. I actually never used it in dark
I
mode.
actually don't use it either, or at least I don't have an option. Maybe perhaps depends on the
Okay,
package that you have on Atlassian.
okay,
Perhaps,
probably.
not
Yeah.
sure,
Because
but
I'm
that would
I'm
be
the one that
interesting.
if I see the button saying dark mode, I
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
automatically
yeah,
click on it. So
It's by
yeah,
I was
default.
expecting to see it.
yeah.
Okay.
Same, same. I really
I
like
only know one
dark theme.
person that does even more than that, which is a colleague of mine that not only has most of his products in dark mode by default, like he actually does that thing of like putting things in dark mode, but he also has a plugin for his entire browser to go
To
into dark mode.
enforce. Yeah,
You
Like
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
every page is put into dark mode automatically. And
Yeah.
Insane,
yeah,
insane. And yeah, so this is the plugin that we talked today, that it's unfortunately not available, but luckily, let's hope that in the future, in a few weeks, they will have it available. And then we advise you to share, to try it, sorry, because it sounds like a lot of fun. You can see here the themes when it's dark and light, and you have all the tokens that we saw previously here. So I found it very funny and a very nice toy. But yeah,
I actually think the themes part might be more than just dark and light. It might also include the colors of their
yeah,
rainbow.
Mhm.
for sure,
That
for
Probably.
that could be
sure.
fun. Just
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
I'm thinking like, yeah, functional colors and things work. Yes,
yeah,
those should always be more fixed and exist in a light and a dark theme. But I'm guessing the actual themes could then be based on colors and products and stuff.
Yeah.
yeah. And I
How
think it's
dangerous, oh sorry, how dangerous will it be to have this plugin available in the community, like in the files, and then everyone starts like using
yeah,
whatever colors on non-foundational stuff will be really funny.
yeah, yeah. And I think it's funny that it's a public
Mhm.
tool, but it's very focused on the employees, because if you see this, you have to have some concern or at least some knowledge about their design tokens, right? Otherwise, we just, if you don't know what to search, it's a little bit useful, not useful.
Mhm.
So I found it interesting. Like, it's public, but you have to know what you want to use it. So I find it funny,
Yeah.
that dilemma.
Okay,
I
I'm just gonna
actually don't
stop
know
for a
what this
second
is.
to share one quick thing, and I'm gonna change even the layout here to see if
Yeah,
everyone can
yeah,
see
go
this.
ahead, go ahead.
So Julia is seeing us in her like 50-inch or something like that.
Hi,
So
Julia.
hi
Hi,
Julia,
Julia.
thank you for like seeing us in such a giant resolution. Probably the person seeing like the biggest version of our stream right now. That was just it. You
Small
can keep
world.
going.
We have some fans. Great.
Cool.
What do we have more? So the
We have
libraries,
here,
no, or the
yeah, the
okay.
libraries that they
Mhm.
explain what they have, as we saw, but mostly I think the big thing that we were going to play now is the slots logic and the component properties. So I
Yeah.
think that would be the funny part for today.
Yeah, I think this is the part where the public and people in chat can actually help us. Do you prefer more to see the slots side or the components properties part? What should we actually explore more? Because I know
Yeah,
slots is also this really hot topic, right? Everyone is changing to component slots to have more flexibility. So maybe you can let us know what you want us to dig in today and what
yeah.
should we dig into.
And I
Which,
think
by
it's
the way, we can
interesting
also
also
say
to
again.
explain
I
Oh,
what
was
is
just gonna say
slots.
one really quick thing, which is like
Go ahead.
Figma, give us slots.
exactly.
Like it's just the winking
Maybe Coffee
moments.
2023.
Yeah, but I think it's good to explain the audience for those who are not used to the concept, because
Yes.
I don't think that's, such a trend, or at least when you
Mhm.
don't have that Figma knowledge. So basically, it's a placeholder that you do it manually on Figma. And it could be tricky when you're not that used to it, but imagine that on this reds zone, you have a component, and then inside of it, you put things,
Yeah,
and then eventually you will have the intelligence to show what you defined here on the slot. So it's a complex concept one for those who haven't used it, but yeah, they also have an explain video. So maybe for those who are more interesting, can go here and see it.
they also have
And
an
yeah,
exercise, which is really cool. Although,
yeah, yeah,
and this is what we
yeah,
noticed so already, is like some of these
Yeah.
files are not set up as they thought it would be.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
for a few reasons. The slot components should have elements that are, in theory, with preferred instances, stuff like that, and actually they're not. So let me try and see if I can show that. If the laptop doesn't like blow up
Yeah, I
today,
think
it's
your
literally like,
laptop is surviving, so go ahead.
Yeah.
so here usually it should have preferred options, but it just leads directly to the slots again. So if we really want to change things, we need to look into what they are looking for. In this case, a really cool thing is that they have images that says the name of what they have as a preferred instance. So we
Yeah,
can look for
yeah.
that. For example, if I look for scrollable, most likely I'm gonna get the same menu that they have.
Let's hope.
Let's hope so. Again, I turned off everything so that my laptop would hold today. Last stream it wasn't this hard, so I'm guessing that since it's getting warmer in Portugal, my laptop is like, oh, it's summertime already.
Yeah.
But yeah, like here we could easily just replace the component and it just starts working. The little
Yeah.
option there.
And I think you also have to be comfortable with the concept of swiping components, for instance, which is also that I think people are not that used nowadays.
Mhm.
But without that logic, you can use that much. So yeah, which we will explain briefly in showing.
Look, I'm just gonna say this: we have a spy among us.
Did we?
Ah!
Julia is in
There she
here.
is.
Okay, what else we have here?
Yeah.
So that
So
we can
here,
actually get started.
yeah, maybe just to show a little bit of the component properties, which is very inspired on the schema talk regarding Nathan Curtis on nested instance. So yeah, so there are components inside of the components, and then you create a lot of subcomponents to do a big components and also a lot of properties inside. So yeah, that should be fun. Expose instance, yeah. So this is another whole level, and I think Figma is working towards this. But yeah, for people who are not that used to it, maybe this is a great playground to try these things.
And Figma just launched it out of beta for everyone, right? Like in the last.
Yeah, the nested instance,
Yeah,
if I'm not
yeah.
mistaken.
So nested
Yeah.
instance was on beta, so you would have to turn it on. Right now, it's turned on by default. You don't really need to go into the menu, set it up. So that thing was launched during the last little big updates live stream.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you want to talk about more of that, there's a live stream tomorrow on Discord. Just to talk about the little bit of big updates. So if you go to friends.figma.com and you join the Discord, we're gonna have a really cool chat tomorrow with Clara and Alex there. So join us. But yeah, it's like it's an interesting tool if you know how to use it, but it can also become overwhelming really fast if you just abuse it.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest issue, right? Like component properties in nested instances can get very noisy if you're not worried about like.
If you get too excited, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
think
when
this
you're
is the
doing with a lot
case.
of designers. Yeah.
I think this is the case of Atlassian. We will see in a bit. But yeah, I had the opportunity to check already, and I think it's the case in some of their components. They got really excited about it, and then we have like 15 component properties, which might be really hard, not for public, but especially internally when you need to onboard people in the organization. If you have like a bunch of things and also internal, oh, hi, cat. And internal terminologies, it might be really hard for you to actually onboard people. So I'm curious about their onboarding actually, because they have
I got really excited, like how do you onboard with this kind of specs maturity? I wonder.
This is,
but maybe we can go to our unboxing file
and let's try and start to build using the libraries. We already published the library, so if you guys don't know, when you publish a document into a library, the icon on Figma turns into that little gray icon instead of the blue one, as we have on the unboxing thing. So we already published our foundations and our components, and we now have access to the components from foundation here. And the whole thing right now is like, let's build a Kanban board. If we don't know the name of things, bets are open on the chat. Let us know what you guys think.
Yeah. It's good that you reminded, because I was going to suggest that.
We're gonna see how that goes. Very
Yeah.
important comment from Julia. Raquel, what is the name of your cat?
Anunciação. It's a very
And
grandma name.
Oh
Jesus.
gosh. How do you
Yeah.
call it? Like,
I'm not gonna even
yeah.
try to pronounce that.
On a daily
Uh,
basis, I call it Sessão.
Okay. 'Cause, like every time needing to call such a long name though.
Yeah, it's because she was found on the street with was to, Rua Tomás Anunciação, and then her brother became Tomás, and she was Anunciação, and I thought it was too
Okay.
funny not to keep it.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Great. So we go from left to right or
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder how
so-
the name, the audience can help us now. So, which name would you give to that left zone? Let's say. I was going already
Navigation.
to say the name.
By the way, they have like a 30-second view.
Do we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see how that goes. Okay, I
Okay.
just wrote like NAV and it already shows something like Jira software. Now this kind of looks like the navigation. I'm gonna pull some of these components, drop them like
Yeah.
bottom.
This is for me side navigation, side drawer. I don't know. No, maybe not drawer because it's in the same level of all the rest. But yeah, I would say navigation for sure.
So
Yeah,
this
I'm
one
just gonna
here feels very much like
drop
it
things.
actually has the board thing, like Lunar
Yeah.
Rover.
But when you search the side navigation, then you have this weird toy, you know, like what is this guy? What does this do?
So
And then you start to explore here on the right side, and it's like a
So I'm
whole
guessing,
level.
yeah, side navigation should be built with components, meaning that, let's say
Yeah.
that the component that you just dropped on the middle should have that thing, which is a Jira. Let's see if we can.
Software. Yeah. It's
There
the
we go.
It's so
Jira
weird. They're so
software.
specific, you
Let's
know.
put this
Jira
Yeah.
software project. This is
Yeah,
insane.
classic Kanban light. That's the
Yeah,
name.
exactly.
Wait,
Yeah.
this is not the one that I was looking for. God damn it.
You need the classic one. It's this
Control
one.
Z.
So I just updated it. So
Ah,
there
good,
it
good,
is.
You found it.
Yeah.
Does the slot in the bottom need looking at there? I don't think it does.
In this case, maybe no, because we already have the issues and
Yeah,
releases.
the last one.
We can
Then-
delete it.
The header should be what?
The avatar.
Maybe? Okay, guys.
I'm looking for it on the assets panel. We don't have a rectangular one, but we have a bunch of.
That's because I don't
Around
know if
it.
you've seen. Might be that it is a. I'm just gonna drop an avatar, like break it a little bit and see how it goes.
Mhm. The
How
square
it
is
responds.
inside. Okay.
The square is an option,
Okay.
right? It's
It's a
appearance thing.
property.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
I thought that was
Insane.
gonna-
Okay. It's a
And
They're
then the
so
images
complex.
The images itself, we know that we can. So the avatar wouldn't be it. The avatar is like part of it, but I don't know if we need to
Mhm.
build it. Or better yet, let's do one thing. Let's see how this lunar rover is built. Go here.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it is very similar to what you
Oh,
have
they
there.
have so many things. Once you double
Yeah.
click,
So button
can see it.
item, minimum height. So they actually use a hack. This is really cool. They use a hack with the 40 pixels line or minimum
that's good
height
to
on the
know.
components.
Yeah.
So it's a zero width component with a height of 40 pixels. There are some people that do this also for width. Since Figma
Yeah,
still doesn't
yeah.
have native support for that, so it's a really cool thing. So, and then inside of that, they actually have the container. So button
Yeah.
item seems to be very close to what we're looking for. So maybe that's what we need here for the header.
Yeah.
So let me just select it for the button item.
Regarding that minimum height and width, I found once a Twitter from someone from Figma. Not sure if that was a lie or not, but they were actually developing that. So I'm hopefully that will do that. Then you can define
Very good.
in the component itself, like the minimum width and height, which is I think
Yeah.
it's very, very important because nowadays it's a pain because you can define
Okay,
it.
so icon is after. We don't need an icon after. The icon is before exists, and that one should not be that, but an avatar. Guessing?
For sure, Giovanni, the challenge is not to detach.
That's
It's very
always all
challenging.
the designers' challenge. Yeah,
Do not detach.
yeah.
So our board is called, let's call it Figma.
But the other thing that I would like to share as a thought is that they have so specific name for the components, and they also put it light and dark, which I found it interesting. Like they put it in the actual name of the component.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting. I didn't actually understand why yet, but yeah, they put it.
His
So
avatar has been customized to have its.
Mm-hmm.
So having it here, which avatar. There you go. So we want the appearance to be square. We also want the size to be probably like what, medium.
Yeah,
There we go.
probably.
And images. We're looking for the
I'm
little
just gonna
parrots.
dump the other ones that I
Parrot!
will
Yes.
eventually find.
Looking like it.
I was
Like it.
arriving with that search bar.
So
But it's not that
first things
side.
first, the navigation is the navigation. We got
Yeah.
it. I think we managed to do the navigation. So kudos
Yeah.
to the three of us to actually understand a little bit about this goes.
Yay! We understood the component properties.
The thing then about these things, I think it's first you are making the trivial test run, which is checking if it's resizable, because a lot of times it's
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
this kind of navigations. And then the thing is that we, being outsiders, we take a lot of more time. Of course, their designers, once knowing
Yeah.
the name of the components, they probably don't need to detach anything. They also have already templates, so it's way more easier for them. Of course, for
Mhm.
us, our first instinct, it's like, let me just detach this because it's really
Exactly.
hard.
Yeah.
But once
Yeah.
you work there, this is such a convenience. It might be really good for you as a designer working for Atlassian.
Yeah. But it's fun to just go around and try to see how this.
Definitely.
Okay, so we got the menu, but we don't got the colors. That's another one. By the way,
Yeah,
is it
because it
also
was on the
with
design
the
token.
width is
Yeah.
also adjustable? Okay. Oh, we're actually missing one thing. Grid on a document. So I'm gonna.
Oh.
But not auto layout.
Oh.
Come on. On a grid. What about this border with 14.12% opacity? I haven't noticed. What was that?
Ah, interesting. Was it predefined?
14.12. That's a very specific number.
Yeah.
Yeah. How they can cut up with that.
Why? Why 14.12? Please explain us, friends from the class. Like, why? Okay, I guess that this grid is actually not very helpful
Yeah.
because it's noisy as hell. And then there's also the 4 pixel row, which probably feels a little bit more helpful. Yeah, I think this is for us to actually like look at things. But there's like no columns or anything. Also, another thing that I noticed is like there's no colors except for the fillers with the avatars and stuff like that. Let's see how that goes. By the way, Giovanni, thank you very much for letting us know 14. That's just. I'm just gonna be like lazy and pick a color out of the use the color pick, little bluish background. So that we have
Yeah,
a
I also
different-
do a picker. I was missing like how many times that I use a picker nowadays, because when you want to to respect the library.
Yeah. You don't.
Let's
You
use
just
the
don't.
auto layouts, people.
Yeah, mine
I
is full
was
of auto layout already though. I don't
I'm
know how
so
to work
addicted
in
to
another
auto
way.
layout that it's insane.
Yes.
I'm trying
So
to put text as a paragraph, but for some reason it's not working. So in case you can put it for me,
Okay,
that would be
let's
wonderful.
see. Paragraph default. It's actually not working. We might maybe
Broke something already.
Okay, we broke something when publishing this probably. Yeah, it's
Okay.
actually not working.
Okay, thought it was my internet or
No,
something.
it's not. It's not. Okay, so we can
So
do it ourselves.
it's
Yeah, but in a good practice, we did try to
Exactly.
do. Yeah.
oh, they already don't have the same symbol that I'm looking. I'm already getting a little bit.
Which one are you looking for? The thunder? No.
The thunder, yeah, but it doesn't really go. Let me see if they have.
Yeah, please remind that I took this screen from at least for Atlassian website, like the new one for the Q&As or Fox and whatever. So not sure how much updated this is, but in theory should be recent.
Okay.
So I can see star, but the stars are also different. Like
Yeah, they probably already updated.
Bruno, I
the
just found the
icons.
navigation header. It's here.
Yay! And now
It
maybe we
exists?
can.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
called navigation header.
navigation header.
This
Okay.
is
Oh my
really
God.
hard though.
So it's
Yeah.
called navigation header, right? So we can
Yes,
just use
we
the.
can just swap it. Because I'm wondering if they have this top navigation with already all of these icons.
Yeah, I was also maybe we can ask the audience if they suspect the name of it,
Yes.
and also
Okay.
how can we call this to do in progress or done? Do you think it's an auto layout? I don't think so. It probably is a component, but
This
maybe it's
seems
label.
to be a
Not
label or a tag.
Tag. Yeah, we have.
Do we
Okay,
have
we
that?
have tag here, but I think
But I
it's
think
smaller.
the tags, yeah, the tags are the ones inside.
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
issues.
I don't think maybe label.
So they probably have it
title.
inside of content.
Or
Let's
maybe
check.
they already have a Kanba waiting for us.
And we
I don't
are
know how
here.
to say
Well,
Kanba in English. Is it Kanba? Kanban?
Kanban board. Yeah, Kanban.
Kanban board.
Kanban.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, I actually don't know how to call
I
it.
gotta say something. Like Figma is the one thing that now is a little bit slower. The rest still seems to be holding. But
Okay.
goddamn, my laptop is. I'm gonna do.
Tag group.
Where is it? That
Oh,
quickly is.
Rita, we have a family of tags here.
Did we? Okay, that's nice. If we have that.
But it's not this one yet.
Okay.
This is the part when we feel like we should have an onboarding Atlassian, otherwise we can know the nomenclature of this stuff. It's this contrast is amazing. Like for us,
Yeah.
it's like a label or a title or
Yep.
column title, but we don't find anything.
I mean, in these big design systems, it's way easier to always jump on their Figma file or the library to look for something.
I found the star, Bruno.
Yeah.
I
Did
think,
you?
but it's inside.
The star I found.
It's in.
I didn't found the rest.
Okay, the thunder. Okay.
Already have our
Because
little icon
they
there.
also have this label, but not sure. No.
So I found the star. I was looking. The thunder. There's like a little thing that is a thunder, but it's not that one. So I'm just gonna ignore the thunder. I'm gonna put, I don't know, a cloud. I just want them to coexist. Now I'm looking for a clock. Not a click. Found it in. That's fine. And now I have something that says 90 button. I'm just trying to like figure out if that exists. Not also. What would that top part be? What would be the name of something? Status? I don't know.
This part that you're the 9 days remaining and so on.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think that will be just like text perhaps, and they just do, but it should be a component. But
it feels like a
maybe-
component because it feels like something that
Yeah,
should exist for the project.
that it should be
Well-
already predefined.
Let me see if by the word project I can, because the naming that I use for some of these projects. So horizontal navigation.
For instance,
It's the one that has the search bar. This is the one that goes on top of this. Everything that we have here, it should be going on top of it.
Ah, yes, that's a good one. You can add it there. But I honestly don't know. Label? Oh, label? Okay.
I'm very confused. It's like, what is the slot? Why we have a slot over? Just gonna pull everything down. Not that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm trying to understand what is that slot. It's like it says items.
Maybe it's a shortcut, like maybe your profile or search, but not sure because that should be like predefined, I guess. But maybe depends
Primary
on.
button.
Oh, okay.
Items primary button.
Maybe it's for you to go like for your platform, whether it's Confluence or Jira. Not sure.
And interestingly enough, I think it broke when I scaled it because some of the elements that I had visible are now invisible.
Okay.
So let me just like do a reset size. No, I think I clicked on something. Okay. So we have a sign in. We have an avatar.
Ah, look what I found.
Notification.
Can you see it?
Yeah, okay, so you found the main navigation, no?
Oh wow. Page header, they call it.
Okay.
Interesting.
So intuitive.
Yeah.
Where is the page header? I haven't seen it.
This one, yeah. Look.
Oh, it's still
we
loading.
tried to do manually, but they have it already.
It's still loading for me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so I'll see it when it comes. I don't know.
When it's time, you'll get it.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Range.
There's this thing that I would love was like, even if we don't have the auto layout well structured, or like the top level UI is like just static and only the components are auto layout. I would love to have an option to just go like fill the width of something with an auto layout thing. It's like I just wanted to go through like instead of having to write 1920. Yes, just use like 100% or fill, and it would fill the whole thing. Right? I don't think that works. I'm gonna just do that really fast to see. I'm uncovering things. It doesn't. But anyways, I think it would be really cool.
I'm building a ticket out of a local component because it's really hard.
I'm gonna reload the tab
Good
because
one.
I still can't see your stuff. So just gonna do a quick reset. I'm also gonna close the other 2 Figma files. Actually 3, so that I have like something. My machine doesn't break. In the meanwhile, we closed the whole thing. Wonderful. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna go back to the browser, check a little bit of their documentation while you guys build things, so that everyone gets a little bit surprised. By the way, Julia dropped some.
Yeah, I was going to agree with that because they don't have keywords apparently, Julia. If we are searching things like labels and so on, even though it has a different name, it doesn't appear. So maybe that could be.
They use keywords. I've seen some of the components have keywords. Maybe they just don't have like the best keywords.
Yeah, for instance, I usually keywords on the description of the components, and usually I haven't seen it on the component properties.
So okay, so the breadcrumb thingy title would what? Config Kanban?
Can be.
Breadcrumbs that we have up there. I could just.
Interesting that they have it this predefined. I still haven't found it to do in progress and done, so maybe we can do it manually.
Yeah. I gave up. I was like,
yeah.
With
my HDNG, I just start to dig until I found it, but I haven't found it yet. So, Perhaps it's this one. No?
Okay, see? No?
Version.
Okay.
Looks like it,
So,
but not
by the way,
sure.
this thing that you have here,
No.
Giovanni was saying dynamic table should have a Kanban pattern.
Okay, let's see, because they have a pretty big dynamic table.
Ah, that's a good thing.
Giovanni, maybe you found out, because I'm wondering how they actually do this. Let's see.
Okay.
I will also play around. Dynamic. Ah, pull request. I'm not sure what this is. Interesting. So. I don't think so, Giovanni, because inside of it, you have to replace with other subcomponents, like with other components, and we haven't found it like a card or anything. Yeah.
With like a white background. So you're saying like dynamic table has an actual like vertical table. And
Yeah, I believe the dynamic table might work really well to build up stuff like the backlog, because it has all the different
absolutely.
rows. But from the issue or ticket perspective, I cannot understand how you can actually turn it into it, because I see the issues, I see the pages, but not the box like the card with the description of the ticket inside.
Yeah. Let me just try this. Interesting. Yeah.
kind of like your header here.
But they have so many things. I wonder how they get lost on this. Especially without testing before launching, right? They gotta test so much things before.
I gave a random name to a component just so I can replace something here with that component.
Mm-hmm.
If it works. God damn it.
To do.
Way that I'm just gonna hide it. Yeah, because these are not a component. Hide that. This here.
Type awareness 10 minutes to 8, so it's 53 now, because I know we keep extending our
We're not extending. We have to stop at
we're just
55.
excited.
Let's put it like that. We need to stop at 55 so that we have like 5 minutes to take a last look at things, and we can also talk about where people can.
Okay, it's 53, so we have like 2 minutes
Let's go.
No pressure.
Done. But we can do this. Okay, okay.
Can I go like all Rambo mode on those tables? I'm gonna like go like full on Bruno on steroids with the way that I use auto layouts. So boom. Done.
Exactly. I was about to do that. Thank you. Done. That's how we are efficient here.
It was quick, for the time that we did. And
also for the information we have, which is around the design system, which is already something.
Yeah, we can use it. We can put it on a backlog to release. I think. This one is still missing.
Look at this. Almost there.
Almost there. Yeah.
Okay.
You have to put it full, I think, right?
Yeah, it's only missing. So, there you go. So let's test it out. Click it outside and
woo! We have an adapted Canva.
There you go. 8 pixels, 6 pixels. Also good. 16. Same thing.
Just gonna hide this because I really don't know why this is here, so it's more pretty.
So right now, what's happening is like everyone is looking at 3 lunatics trying to build something in 2 minutes.
We did our best, though. It's 55 and we have a Kanban board,
We have
which
a
is
Kanban
already
board,
good.
which is like, it's a victory if you look at it, right? Like, I'm gonna stop with the UI, just focus on what we build, trying to
Yeah.
see when the boss says it's urgent. Yes, exactly that. Welcome to my life. Okay, but it's cool. Like, I think it's what we
It's
talked
looking
about when we
good.
were it's looking good. It's a little bit what we talked when we were starting to look at their documentation. It feels like this is a design system that demands onboarding, which is not a bad thing. I think onboarding should be something that any design product design team mostly has. Like, it's like it should exist. It should like be ready to run and everything. But at the same time, should it be limiting from other people to understand your language, or shouldn't other people like more easily find your language without having to struggle of not finding the key? Maybe it's what Julia said, like, we need some better keywords on search and documentation to help the designers find things that they need with other terms while still adapting our own language to the main component level. I don't know.
Yeah.
At least for me, that's how it felt when I was trying to build this. But overall, like, this is already an amazing product for people who don't have like any awareness of how they use
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the level of complexity in this case it's really high. So this is also a pretty scaling design system. It has already a lot of information. It's a pretty big team working on it. So if it's
Yeah.
the first time you are looking to a design system, it might seem a bit overwhelming. But they do
Yeah.
have some different technical perspectives that are really good. So they use very different ways, component properties. They use slots, so I think it's a pretty complex and a pretty complete one. And the way
Yeah.
they actually hand over to you a playground where you can actually test out real use case scenarios of a product using these kind
Yeah.
of things, especially from someone that is starting, maybe it's a very good starting point to actually just
Yeah.
duplicate and play around with this.
For
Yeah,
sure.
it's
We
like
can
this.
conclude
This,
if you
this is
want to work in
probably
Atlassian, you have to be a little bit mature design. Sorry,
Yeah.
I
yeah,
only
yeah.
listen you
I hope that they are
afterwards.
listening to this too. But like, just it feels like there's a lot of cool things that you can do. You're not an expert in Figma. This is gonna take you a while to get. I
It
guess that's
will.
it. Not just
Yes.
like, even in coding, I'm guessing that there's gonna be stuff that
Yeah.
takes a while. But
Yeah.
specifically in the Figma file, I'm guessing it's okay. Moving back to just cameras, let's ignore the fact that my laptop is currently in flames and my cat is like asking for food. So,
Probably one of my cats are also, so in case you hear cats, you're not
moment
crazy.
two.
I have 3, so
Say hello
yeah.
to Pitchy.
Okay.
Pitchy is not happy
So
that she is on the
cute.
stream.
Okay.
There you go. But thanks everyone that showed up. I think today was a really, really good exercise for us too. Um, I also find it that this live streams have also been very interesting to learn new things. I don't know about you too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
for
for
me as
sure.
well, especially
Yes.
on nested
Yeah.
instance. It was good to see a real example, because I saw a lot of tutorials, but I
Mm.
never actually play so much with it, so it was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, exactly the same. I do already have experience with it, but I still find it really funny to see how other people are
Yeah, yeah,
actually
the logic
approaching
behind.
the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
problem
yeah,
I have and how they actually approach it in a very different way. But at the end, we are solving the exact same problem. So
Yeah,
really
yeah,
nice, even when you already have experience with it.
yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
And that's it, I
Nice.
guess, for everyone that has been with us for the whole stream. One last reminder, and that's the whole reason that I came with my cap today. Config registrations are now live. If you wanna head to San Francisco, you have the ability. You can now purchase your ticket. It's gonna be a 2-day conference this time. I can talk for experience that it's a really, really great place to be. A really great moment to participate if you have the chance. Meet amazing big mates and other designers in the industry. The environment it's unlike any other conference that I've been to. So you want to have that little bit of like Apple-esque kind of moment where you go into the room and everyone is just going crazy because they are launching the geekiest things that we love. Well, Config is the place to go. So I hope to see some of you there because I'm most definitely going. And yeah, that's it for today. you all on the next episode. Or if you ever come to one of our meetups, we're gonna have a couple more starting this month. So stay tuned to our Friends of Figma page. And yeah, have a great day.
Thank you
very
so much.
Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you
everyone.
all. Bye bye.